What is going on, everybody? Come on in the house. This is the Fryar Place. I'm Irving Fryar, your host, and this is where the conversations are fire. We're back. It's a Friday, 6 p.m., 6 to 7 p.m. That's when we're on. I got a bunch of you who have logged in right now. You're watching right now. Come on, acknowledge yourselves. Say something in the chat so I can know who's watching right now. We got a great, I was talking to my guest earlier. We got a great show lined up. We're going to have a lot of fun today. I always have great guests. That's what I do. That's what we do here at the Fryar Place. Yes, and we have conversations that are hot. Ravens Talks with Yolanda. Good evening, sister. Good to see you as well. Come on in the room, y'all. Who else is watching right now? Come on and shout me out or shout yourselves out in the comments. Stu Winrow, good evening, brother. Good to see you as well. Stu, are you in New Jersey or are you in another state somewhere? I can never remember where you are exactly. For some reason, I think you're all the way across the country, but another part of me says, no, you're somewhere close. Let me know where you are, Stu. Who else is in the house? Shout me out right now or shout yourselves out. Listen, you know what we do? Mom, I see you, Mama. She says she liked my shirt. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate you. Oh, you're in Hamilton, New Jersey, Stu? Okay, bro. I appreciate you. Listen, we just acquired a studio in Hamilton. You have to hit me up on Instagram or hit me up on Facebook. Give me your number, Stu, so I can give you a call. I'm going to be up in that area quite often now because we just opened up a studio in Hamilton, New Jersey. Vincent Capriati, what's going on, bro? Shout out to you. Listen, you know what we got to do? We got to take a break real quick because we got to pay the bills. I'll see you right after this.
Are you planning a special trip or a night out? Don't bother with the hassle of driving, parking, and traffic. Just call Ed's Smooth Transport. One-way or round trips available. We will take you there, and we will also pick you up. Enjoy a night on the town with Ed's Smooth Transport. Call us 609-471-2653 or 609-314-6619. Visit our website to take advantage of our monthly specials at www.smooftransport.com. Ed's Smooth Transport, where experience meets comfort.
In Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, there's a slightly slower pace of living. That's also where you'll find the home of Stoltz Fish Structures, where quality, integrity, and world-class customer service are more than just a way to do business. It's a way of life. From our humble beginning over 40 years ago in a small building, to the modern 65,000 square foot facility of today, we've remained at the forefront of our industry. Everything from gazebos and sheds to garages and pergolas, and everything in between.
All right, we're back, y'all. Listen, I want to introduce my guest. We paid the bills. Who else is coming in? Let me see who else is here. Joey Haran, is that right? Am I saying that name right? He said, what's up, man? You got a legend out there. Yeah, I got a legend with me today. Listen, I appreciate you, Joey. Shout out to you. Listen, before I bring him in, let me give you some stats on this cat. Stats on this cat. I see him stretching his neck. He getting ready to, I see him in the back. He's stretching his neck, getting ready to come on the show. He's laughing now. Listen, we have something in common. He's a former first-round draft choice out of 2002 with the Philadelphia Eagles. He was the 26th pick in the draft that year. Cornerback from Florida, from the Florida Gators. Oh, good God, they were bad. They're still bad now. 10 years in the NFL, 7 years with the Eagles. He played with the Jets, played with the Vikings, played with the Raiders. First team All-Pro in 2004. Two-time Pro Bowler, 2004 and 2006. 345 tackles, 303 solo, 3 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 85 pass deflections, 19 interceptions, good God almighty, 3 defensive TDs, ranked, let's watch this, ranked 44 among the top 100 Gators in Florida Gator football history. First in the history of the NFL to have 2 interception returns for TDs for more than 100 yards. Y'all, come on in the room. My guest, Lito Sheppard. Y'all put your hands together. There he is. He is. What you laughing at, man?
I almost started clapping for that, man.
Listen, bro, you're a baller. You were a baller, man.
Man, blessings to God. I started with that, and I played in a great city, man, for the majority of my career with a lot of great players, with a lot of great coaches, a great organization. So, that made making the stats a little easier.
Megan Stats. Listen, did you play in the vet, or had they built the link by then?
My very first year, my rookie year, was in the vet,
It was in the
and
vet. Uh huh.
it was horrible. I guarantee you. I promise to God. Now, let's start with that. I probably wouldn't have had all those stats if we would still been playing in the vet. Let's go.
Yeah, I remember I had to play. I remember the vet. I should say I had to play games with myself because I played, on turf in college in Nebraska. Then I went to New England, and New England's turf was pretty bad as well. Played on turf there I was there for 9 years. I think my last 2 years they put grass in the stadium. Then I went to Miami, which was wonderful. Then I came back from Miami to the freaking vet. I had to play. Yeah, I had to play games with myself and trick myself into believing that, okay, I'm playing on this turf that makes me tougher. I'm tougher than anybody else that comes in here, so I have an advantage.
I can almost agree with that actually, because if you survived it, I guarantee you was a lot tougher than the average player around the league. I was able to do 1 year on it, and even in that year, I was gracefully spared to just some special teams duty, throughout the
Okay.
preseason. And man, just hitting the ground on that field could have been, career ending.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My worst concussions. People always ask me, "Well, who hit you the hardest?" Nobody really hit me as hard as when my head hit the ground on the turf.
Yeah,
Those were
yeah.
my worst concussions when my head hit the ground on the turf. Yeah. So yeah, it took you. You're drafted in the first round, 2002. You come into the Eagles. You're highly touted, obviously, but those first couple of years kind of took you a little bit to maneuver in, to get yourself settled in, and then your third year is when you had a big year and all. But what was it? What happened? What did you need to do to get yourself in that groove to get to the point to where you started? You had 2004, 5 interceptions, 2 return for touchdowns. That's when you made the Pro Bowl, and you were first team All Pro. So
Yeah.
there was a couple of years prior to that, after you got drafted, that I guess you were trying to maneuver in or figure out what you needed to do or figure out what it is you need to do to play at that level. So what was going on in those first couple of years?
Yeah, so I had a funny career, and the way it started, even though I was drafted first round, and shoot, I mean, we drafted uh, 3 DBs in the first 4 picks or whatnot of that
Mm-hmm.
year,
Mm-hmm.
and but I came into already stacked secondary, and
Okay.
with Troy, Bobby, Al Harris, a number of other guys that were competing at the time. It just took a little while for everything to work out the way it did.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, those guys were playing at high levels. Both went to Pro Bowls. My rookie year, if I'm not mistaken, and or either my second year there.
Mm-hmm.
And Al Harris went on to Green Bay and signed a big, contract to start or what. So, I had some really talented, solid guys ahead of me already. And that's what actually helped me out a lot, just playing behind some of those guys, seeing how they approached the game, seeing how they played the game, and then just having to learn the work ethic and,
Mm-hmm.
and, and study habits and the mentality of the game.
Mm-hmm. I
You
was
know,
going to ask you. I was going to ask you, was there anybody in particular who maybe mentored you or who helped you more so than because I played with all those guys with Troy. I played with Troy down in Miami, and we both came to Philly the same year. And Bobby Taylor, obviously, and Al Harris. I played with all those guys when I was in Philly, so I kind of missed you. I was down in Washington for 2 years after I left there. But was there anybody in particular out of those guys that that
I tell
shined
you,
on you a little bit more?
it was nobody in particular. Obviously the Eagles organization and the team is a close knit, group of guys and players already.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, just being in the culture, and I would look at it almost like tough love because, not but when you have a Troy Vincent at that point in his career and a Bobby Taylor, those are veterans, and they explain the game very simple. Young buck, we know why you're here technically or whatnot. So
Try to take my job.
well, it wasn't handing it over to me like that type of situation or whatnot. So it took, but it was honest teamwork and genuality of conversation and what their job is in that respect. So but I got a lot of learning from just watching
Okay.
and just seeing, what the coaches wanted, how it was being translated in the meeting rooms and then onto the playing field. And all I tried to do was just come in, see how they wanted us to play the game, and then see how I could mimic that and mend it with what I bring to the table.
Right. And you did that. I mean, when you finally got a chance to get in the game and play and be a starter, you showed your skills. Like I said, Pro Bowl, first team All Pro. But then you go through a bunch of injuries. You made the Pro Bowl. Then the next few years, you had to deal with you still played. I think the year after that, you played 6 games and you got a few interceptions, but it wasn't like it was the year before. And then you had to deal with injuries the next couple of years. So talk about that. You end up coming in as a first round draft choice. You gotta work your way in. You gotta fight your way through the lineup. You got these guys in front of you who are playing, who are veterans, who are Pro Bowlers themselves, and you finally get there and you show your skills, and everybody's acknowledging it because you made the Pro Bowl and you're first team All Pro, and then you got these injuries you got to deal with, and it's kind of setting you back after being at the top. Talk to everybody about how you dealt with that, man, and what was going through your mind back then, and how you were able to get back, to playing at a high level.
Well, I'll say this: a lot of it came just from really just wanting to play the game and getting back a lot sooner than maybe I should have in that respect.
Right.
And with then, playing at a high level. Once you reach those levels, there's no going down,
Right.
For whatever reasons, whether it's injuries, whether it's whatever it is, is no going down. So it was a little bit of both of just contract situation and just not being totally healthy at the right times.
Right.
And, that just brought about, change in a sense. But when I really received like the injury that quote unquote changed my career was when I left Philly and I went to the Jets. That was the quad injury that I got like in week 5 of that season. And prior to that, I was really off to a really good start. I was actually on a Pro Bowl caliber playing level at that time. And obviously I had, Revis on the other side of me, but he
was a bad boy.
Really, oh man, he was awesome, and that's just another story. But yeah, he was definitely awesome, and it was a great joy to play with. But just him really taking a lot of the pressure off of me at that time from, coming from being a number 1 corner and then still got those capabilities and ability, but not asked to do that. And him being taking over those responsibilities, I had a very easy job at that time, covering 2-3 receivers. At least, and that's the way I approached it, honestly.
Right.
And I was off to a great start in making that statement. But just like I say, 4 or 5 games in, playing the New England Patriots, got doggone Joey Galloway tried to take me deep. that guy that was still 4.
Galloway,
And I gave it all I got. He didn't make the play though, so I did knock it away. But man, it took everything I had to get to that ball that time. And,
so when you said you had when you had a quad injury, was it a pulled quad or was it a bruise or was it a real bad pull?
Yeah, I almost pulled it off the bone.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I almost pulled it off from the hip flexor area. It was a high quad. Yeah,
that sounds painful, man. I'm hurting now.
Who you telling? And that's the way that worked out because it was just I was in between, a trade situation
Right,
and a
right.
year to really prove that I can get back to a certain level, and then just taking that injury at that time really kind
Oh,
of, hindered the rest of my career in that respect because it,
right.
it was not the same since then.
Okay.
From that.
So you're the Jets in 2009. You signed with the Vikings. 2010, 2011. You were with the Raiders, and then you
Yeah.
retired. You retired. I think they let you go, and then you retired.
Well, so no, this the way that went was
Okay, go
so.
ahead.
So the Raiders, I got with the Raiders at the beginning of the year, and
Hmm.
then they let me go, but then they brought me back, and I finished the year, more than
With
half of the year with
with the
them.
Raiders, yeah.
Right. And
But
I
then you
actually had a pretty decent year when I came back to the Raiders, just considering how all the dynamics were.
right. So why did you retire? What led to you retiring?
Well, honestly, that's a great question, man. But they always it's nothing against the Raiders, but they always say, the Raiders is your last stop before they send you out the league.
No, they were saying that back in '84 when I got when I was
Well,
got
I guess it
drafted
was
as well.
2012 too. So, but that's kind of seems like what it was because, like I said, I really thought I had a solid year that year. You can look at the stats to see that. But
Hmm.
I never received a call for a tryout after that, man. It just kind of worked its way into retirement.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
But you so you didn't make any. I'm sure you had an agent. They didn't make any phone calls to try to, hit you on with a team somewhere.
I'm still here sitting down and we talking right now. So
You funny, man. You funny.
but no, man. At least I thought they had my best interest in doing that, and obviously we can't pick up the phone and make these phone calls ourselves. But you got to depend on their words and what they're doing, working for you. So from my
Wow.
perspective, that's what happened.
So what? Tell me about your mindset with that, because I mean, I don't think there's not too many people. I want people to recognize this or hear this. Billy Bell, I see you. What's going on, bro? Eddie Casper, I see you. Ben Straight is in the house. My sister Hope is in the house. I think I said Joey Heron is in the house. Heron, yeah, is how you say that name. Thanks for being with us today. I think people need to understand most NFL players, most professional players, I think, particularly football though, never really retire on their own terms. I think
Right.
most of us, some of us try to stay in too long, but most of us retire. It's almost like a forced retirement, whether it's injury, whether it's because a team, you feel as though you can still play, but the teams don't feel that you can still play. And when we go out like that, particularly you played 10 years, when we go out like that, it's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough
It's a
emotionally,
lot of different factors
psychologically.
too. Yeah, it's a lot of different factors and why it happens. I mean, like you said, you mentioned 10 years, and the salary of a 10-year vet and or just a vet at whatever year is three times, maybe four times of what a rookie base salary is when
Hmm.
you're talking from that standpoint. And then just it's a close knit community as well.
Right.
So you just never know, the determining factors in any decisions.
And you was making a lot of money too, bro.
I mean, I was making a 10-year league minimum, from that perspective.
Look, one of those teams, I read one of those teams, and I never signed a contract like this. One of those teams you signed a 1-year deal with $2 million. That's a lot of money, dude.
Well, that's solid money, and I'm not complaining in how I was blessed, but that's crumbs now.
Oh,
If
it's crumbs now, yeah. No, I
even at the
listen.
level that we
The
played at,
listen, the most I ever made in 1 year was $1 million. That's the most I ever made in 1 year. My salary, and I was the first person taken, the first pick in the 1984 draft, the first player taken. My salary was $250,000.
yeah.
Now it's what, $250 million?
Right. For a lot of those guys. And I took my hat off and I always, try to pay respect and homage to all the older guys that played before me and paved the way, and made a lot of those sacrifices to even have it to a better place when I played it.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
anybody that, if you bump into that have met me, I've always tried to show respect to my seniors and my comrades who played the game and paved the way before me. In that respect. So
Well, I appreciate you being nice to me when you see. I guess you see me. You see when we get together, you're always respectful. You always speak. We always hang out. We always talk. Now I know why, because you respect me as your elder.
the game has changed, man, and
Oh, it's changed. Yeah.
I was in that middle era where I'm old to a lot of guys now
Right.
that play
Right.
that game and don't even know my stats. So
Right. Right. Yeah. No. Yeah.
uh,
You're considered to be an old head now. You ain't as old as me, but you're an old head right now. Yeah. You're an old head to the young cats.
I try to stay, as in shape as I can, and keep a great diet. So I get confused as still can play a little bit, but I just dye my hair a little bit.
Don't stop dying. You better cut it off or let it just be gray, man. Just let it be gray. It'll be all right. Frank Hanna's in the house. He says Lito's missing the Eagles party this year, Irv. I'm not going to say what he said after that. He said, darn. Let me know when you tell Frank, thanks. I'm going to see you Panthers game, brother. Love you, Lito. Sheldon era. They were my prime. They were in my prime when I was in mine. Okay. I got that. Frank Hanna said that. Let me see if I can put it up there. Love the Lito Sheldon era. They were in my prime when I was in mine. Okay.
Ah,
Frank, I
yeah,
don't know,
we was
did you
on
play
the
ball, Frank?
prime.
What prime were you in, Frank? So Lito, listen, you were coaching after you retired for a little bit. You were coaching for the Orlando Apollos in the Alliance of American Football League. You were coaching the safeties, coaching the defensive backs. Is that something that you would like to do?
I've always been consistently around coaches since I retired. Honestly, I took a step back from the prime time of it to be more on hands with my kids, and now they're getting to that point to where I can consider and make some of those transitions. But I just had my oldest son just went to college this year.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
Whatnot. And I've been really close knit coaching him and a lot of his buddies from middle school.
Okay, Prime.
So,
Okay, Coach Prime. Okay, Coach Prime. Take them on
well,
through college, going and
but I mean, honestly, I do have a couple guys that's on a couple college teams right now that I've definitely had hands on from middle school
hmm.
ages, and
Hmm.
still to this day, we talk, football every couple of weeks. Even the dads, I'll get some plays. They'll send me some plays, and
Nice.
just try to break it down and give them some good advice from that perspective. And so I've always been attuned to it. And like I said, I coach. I had the great opportunity to be a part of that Alliance League with
Hmm.
Coach Spurrier,
Right.
and he put me on and gave me the opportunity along with some of the other coaches that I actually played up under while at University of Florida.
Hmm.
And great job. I had an amazing time. I learned a lot. I definitely was able to show some of my skills from that perspective in a
Okay.
different environment. And we had one of the best defenses and secondaries in that league.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you can't take away the stats, so you can definitely go and look at that.
Yeah.
And just a lot of great players. I think they really received my coaching well, and we were paying attention to the right things and out there making plays. So it's definitely something that gave me a lot of confidence within how I was organizing and structuring things and learning to put some of those things together from a coaching standpoint. Um, so yeah, that's definitely something that I've always tried to keep honing in on and
Hmm.
being a part of that network for the future. And you just never know. It's always a passion, especially when you play it for so long and it's a huge part of your life. It
Right.
really never goes anywhere.
Right.
So
Right.
always just try to, just be ready for if any opportunities, and I was ready to take it. It came about. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. You talked about. You said you have two sons. Are they your only two children, or you have any daughters?
No, so man, like I said, I'm an old head, man. So listen,
Well, you're old, but you ain't old yet. I'm 62, bro. You got a long way to go. You look. When you were born, I was a freshman in college. So okay, just
yeah, you
keep living. You'll get there.
So yes, I have a 27-year-old daughter, and she's married, and I'm a grandfather as well.
All right. How
And
many grandchildren do you have?
just one so
Okay, you
far.
still pop. You a pop. Yeah, you old school. You a
Exactly.
pop.
Yeah. My second oldest daughter, she's 21. She just graduated from the University of Florida this year. So
Hey man, yeah.
it's a
Congratulations.
blessing. Yeah. I had my 18-year-old son. He just went to college. I'm not going to mention the school he went to because it's one of our rivals from the
What's the
Gators.
name
But
of the school?
FSU, man. He went to Florida
Florida State.
State.
I was gonna say he didn't go to Florida State. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Come on. No.
And and my youngest, he's 14, and that's a bright light in our family too, man. That young man now, he's been doing an amazing job, and he's a basketball player right now.
Okay.
And he's been on the AAU circuit, and just reaching the middle high school age in school and in school ball, should I say?
Right.
So we're expecting some nice things from him, and I'm just excited, man. I've been, really making a lot of sacrifices to be around and a part of their upbringings in life,
Uh-huh.
and so I'm real proud of my decisions on doing some of that stuff, man. It's just it's a blessing, yeah.
Yeah, it only happens once. So yeah, you have to make sure because time goes. Once time is gone, it's gone. You can't recapture it. So yeah, you have to be there for those important times for them, and it's important to them. So what is the message that you give to particularly your sons? I mean, I'm sure you do your daughters as well, but what's the message that having been in the pros and been there, done that, played at a big major university, Florida Gators. You got one at FSU. You got another one getting ready to go into college. He's playing basketball. But what is your message to your children?
Well, I mean, and they've seen it firsthand within me and our family. Just some of the ups and downs in the career, in family. I mean, even in relationships. we didn't even mention, but I was married for a very long time, and
Hmm.
now I'm divorced and single for a number of years. But just how we persevered and overcame some of those obstacles, and still thriving in a sense.
Right.
And we all love each other. Obviously, we don't always have to agree, but
Right.
when we have God and just family at the forefront of your actions, things tend to work out.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's just some of those things. My message to those guys is just be, they see and have seen their own family just go through some obstacles,
Right.
and yeah, they're going to college, graduating from college, enjoying life and not hurting for anything in that sense. They're
Wonderful.
healthy. And the only difference in what analogy I try to give them as far as my career, a big part of my first career was based on my ability and my my body in that sense,
Hmm.
as far as bones and muscles and that stuff. So that hindered my progression in that aspect. But the mentality, the work ethic, the thought process, and the intelligence, that always is going to be with me, God willing,
Right.
staying healthy.
Right.
So just being able to, them see me transition some of those abilities and efforts into other things, and keeping things moving forward positively. That I think that's been the biggest motivation, honestly.
Okay. And just I'm gonna say this real quick. We're not gonna get into it. But I'm gonna say this. I can identify with you. I have four children as well, and all of my children are in their 30s now. But I have two boys and two girls, just like you. and been through a divorce just like you. And I know the impact that divorce, particularly when you've been married for a while, I know the impact that a divorce has on the family. It can be devastating. So just getting through that challenge and keeping your family, keeping the kids together, keeping a relationship, maintaining that relationship with your kids, because I'm sure it was challenged at times. So I can identify with you, brother. Trust me. We got a lot more in common than just the first round draft choice. We got a lot more in common. So for the people who are kind of wondering or don't quite remember Lito Sheppard, the first round draft choice who's a Florida Gator in 2002. Let me show y'all this, because this happened in 2006. And this is a moment that is etched in the Philadelphia Eagles fans' minds for all of eternity. We will never forget about this. We remember this, and Lito Sheppard will always be one of our favorites. Watch this.
Opportunity, second and goal. Bledsoe into the end zone, and he's picked off. Back the other way.
Run, Lito, run.
Sheppard, all alone.
You almost got caught here. Look, you almost got caught playing around.
Take it over Dallas.
Messing around, almost got caught.
But it looks like Drew Bledsoe was expecting Jason Witten to continue on the outside. He did not, and that's why it looked as ugly as what it did. Lito Sheppard standing on the outside of Jason Witten was then able to make the.
Lucky I looked up at the scoreboard.
You're lucky you looked up and saw him bearing down on you, man. So that was in 2006. That was against the two interceptions that you had that were over 100 yards were both against the Dallas Cowboys, which is really unusual. You were the first one ever in the NFL history of the NFL to do that, to have two interceptions over 100 yards returned for TDs. That was just awesome. But this one in particular in 2006 sealed the #1 spot in the division, NFC East, for the Eagles over anybody else, over the Dallas Cowboys. That was Drew Bledsoe. That wasn't Troy Aikman, but that was Drew Bledsoe throwing that ball. We talked about it briefly earlier when we were not on the show. And you said there were some things that led up to that was, I guess, strange, that needed to fall in place. What was happening before all of that? What were some of those things that led up to that interception that made it so much more significant for you?
I'll tell you what. Now that year was pretty amazing too, because we spoke about some of the little nagging injuries that I had while Philly. So that was my first game back. Also, let me start with that. That was my first game back, and I might have missed like the previous 4 games prior to that. It was a big week.
So that 100 yards was a challenge for you. That 100 yards was a challenge.
It was the fourth quarter. We had to play the full game almost.
Yeah.
Right. So it really was. So also, but prior to that, I also dropped another interception previously in that game. That I would have had. That would have been my third, but I dropped another one that just ended up just slipping through my hands. But that was a really tough game throughout the whole game, and we thought we had it sealed in the bag for a period of time, and we had the drive before they got that drive. We went down, maybe kicked a field goal or something to really just kind of put it in a comfortable situation to where they had to drive the length of the field to even have a chance to score. So, we kick off the ball, kick off height, boom, get them down probably inside the 25-yard line. So here they go, have to drive, 80 yards to have a chance to score and win. And we stop on first down, second down, probably even third down. So we get into a situation to where they're in a desperate situation where time is running out. We know we can't give up a touchdown.
Right.
They run some funky stop and go route. On the other side of the field, I'm gonna just call it that.
It wasn't on you. It wasn't on you. I got you. It wasn't on you.
we get a pass interference call, right?
Oh.
And the pass interference calls goes the length of the field or wherever the pass was.
Right. The spot of the foul.
Man, I'm talking about Bledsoe probably chomped it probably 60 yards at the
Who
time.
was that? Al Harris? Was that Al Harris?
No, it was a safety. I must say it was a safety.
Okay.
It was a safety, right.
It must have been Brian Dawkins.
No, it wasn't Dawg either. It wasn't
Okay.
Dawg. It wasn't Dawg. So we're gonna narrow it down to right now.
Okay.
So just unfortunate, but fortunate enough, we thought we had the game in the bag, and then we give up a mental lapse play and get a pass interference, and now they're contesting within the 15-yard line.
Right.
And we get in that situation, and obviously everybody is just like, okay, it's time to buckle down. And me, I'm one of those guys who it has worked out this way that a lot of my interceptions come in the fourth quarter as well.
Okay.
So it's just something about that red zone in the fourth quarter that I hone in a little bit more in tune to certain things. And obviously we're going to blitz. So I definitely know that. So we had a situation to where I just made that play. I wasn't on any in particular man. I was more so adjusting to emotion and in a zone.
Right.
And one thing about it, when you get tighter to the red zone, those zones, you can't just be standing next to a person.
Right.
And call yourself sticking this guy. You have to close that gap and be within arm's reach to go touch people.
Right, because they catch the ball, they're in the end zone. Touchdown.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And see, that's one of those fine coaching points that maybe some guys aren't being told these days.
Right.
I'll play in my zone and this and that. Well, how you gonna make the play?
Yeah,
As soon as you get your zone, the first person in it, you go get hip with.
It's too late. When you're in the red zone, they're in the end zone. Yeah, it's too late.
Right. So, just doing some of those things that was embedded into us through coaching, through the aggressive mentality that we had in Philly, that's what led up to that play as far as me making it. Just, my man Terry Glenn short motioning down, then running a shallow crosser across the field.
Right.
Well, I bumped to the next receiver. As soon as he stopped, I squeezed the route.
That was tight end. That was the tight end, and it looked like Bledsoe was thinking that the tight end was going to run out towards you, and he just kind of turned around and stayed right there.
So also, if you saw, we always have a guy jamming or hitting the tight ends to slow down some of that upfield motion.
Right.
Which I think it was Trotter. Trotter did a great job of jamming him to a certain point, and when he was at that point of turning around, he was already engaged on his inside, so he wasn't paying any attention to me, thinking maybe we was man-to-man coverage and I'm going with the receiver and or just a little wilder than I should have been in the first place. So just understanding all that, and things happen fast down there, man. He threw that thing to his outside shoulder, and I was kind of already anticipating on squeezing, so it just worked out. And I was blessed with my second 100-yard interception return. That one put me in NFL history. So that was a true lesson. I'll tell you that.
It was awesome, man. It was awesome. Listen, we're going to go to a commercial, everybody. Let me see who was watching. Chris Womack. Chris Womack is up in Massachusetts. It's a good friend of mine who's watching us right now. Chris, good to see you, bro. Billy Bell. Okay, Vincent Capriati. Okay, Sean Constantine. I don't know.
Sean Constantine. He's safety with me, man.
That's who the safety was. Sean. I don't know who that was.
It wasn't him. So that's a good thing.
Oh, he's guessing. He was guessing. Sean Constantine. Okay. That's what you're saying. Vinny's guessing. It wasn't him, Vinny. Good guess though. I don't know who that is. I never heard that Constantine. Never heard that name before. Listen, we're gonna go to commercial real quick. We're gonna come back, Lito, for the last few minutes, and we're gonna talk birds. Is that all right with you?
Sounds great.
All right, we're gonna take this break real quick. See these two commercials. Actually, we got a commercial I got to read. We'll be right back right after this. Hey, what's up, everybody? Stouffer Structures. Stouffer Structures is a 49-year-old family business. Stouffer Structures is a storage, shed, and garage company located in the heart of the Amish country. They ship structures nationwide. You can check them out on mysheds.com. They strive to be the undisputed choice of modular garages, sheds, and outdoor living products in the United States while furthering the kingdom of God. Yeah, I love them for that. Stouffer Structures is known for their fast delivery, great quality, and great client service. So if you're looking for a garage or a shed or any kind of outdoor living product, Stouffer Structures is the way to go. Check them out on mysheds.com. And if you mention the Fryar Place, whatever purchase you make, 10% off. Stouffer Structures, mysheds.com. All right, we're back in the house. Lito Sheppard's in the house. We're getting ready to put him to the test. No, we're getting ready to talk about birds. You there?
Mic check.
Okay, mic check. Yeah, okay. You were laughing, but I wasn't hearing you.
Okay.
So we're gonna do it like this. I got about 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 names. That's it. 5 names. I'm gonna mention the name, and you just give me a short synopsis. First round draft choice this year, cornerback. He's really playing really well for a rookie. I mean, for anybody. If he was a seasoned veteran, he'd be playing well. Quinyon Mitchell.
Okay, you can't say he's playing really well for a rookie. So
Right. That's what I'm saying. He's playing really well, period.
yeah, the guy's making plays. He seems to be really getting his footing of him, and I can only imagine what he's going through as a rookie on the stage with the expectations that's on him.
Mm-hmm.
So just that he's going and continuing to fight, I think he's only going to get better. So I think that's a great pick, and he's going to have a long, healthy career.
Yeah,
good job.
I think he definitely. I don't know. I mean, he's got to get. He's actually. What are they? The Eagles are. What are they? 4-2 now. They're 4-2 in all 6 of their games. He actually has had a legitimate chance to get an interception. He's had his hands on the ball, interception-wise, with an opportunity to intercept the ball all 6 games. He could have 6 INTs.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's one of those things where once you catch up to the speed in your mind, it's gonna be easy. And he's getting thrown. He's already been thrown in the fire, and to play as well as he's playing, I mean, this year is only going to be great experience for him. So, if he makes that adjustment, next year after next could be some of his best years of his career.
Well, he looks like he's comfortable in the fire. I'm telling you, the cat. He's going to be, like you said, he's going to be a talent for years to come. All right, let me start at the top. Nick Sirianni. I don't know if you've heard some of the talk about Nick and decisions that he's been making and things that he's struggling with. The Eagles won their last 2 games, the Browns. They really, really beat up real good on the Giants last week. But Nick Sirianni has been catching HE double hockey sticks. What do you think about Nick Sirianni?
Well, obviously we have a really talented team, and we feel like we should always be in contention for a Super Bowl. But, the things that I've seen just from, I guess, the first year we acquired A.J. Brown, considering to now, it's just been a little decline in the offensive perspective in my mind. And, for whatever reason, I don't know what that is, but I love to see him, score a lot of points, break this. I love to see A.J. get 200 yards in a receiving game and they spread the ball around. Jalen, do his thing. But for whatever reasons, I think I just want to see Jaden run less.
Okay.
And just attack down the field, use his weapons more, I guess. But I think Nick has done a great job of keeping this thing together throughout all the outsiders talk, and just stay focused on the team, and they're winning. So at the end of the day, it's not much you can say too bad about winning, other than not winning the whole championship. So
Right, right. And well, yeah, we can say we don't like the way they won, but like you're saying, and like we say, the bottom line is win. You get the W.
Right.
I don't care what it looks like. It doesn't matter. It's like the golf game. I don't care how the ball gets in the hole. If it's a birdie, it's a birdie. Whether I dribbled it up there, whether it came off a tree, whatever, it went in the hole and it's a birdie. It doesn't matter. It's a birdie. So yeah. And yeah, they got a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, and in my opinion, they should be scoring more than they are right now. But you mentioned the other names that I was going to mention. That's Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devontae, and they need to all be more involved in what's going on. I think with Jalen, I really believe he's a little bit hindered when you watch him and how his mobility. It's not like it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, you watch him, he'd pull that ball out of the running back's stomach and start off down the line of scrimmage, and there'd be a lineman coming up or a linebacker coming up trying to address him. Bang, he put his foot in the ground and they fly by and he cut up the field. He don't do the stinky leg no more. He just, for some reason, he's not moving like he used to move, and his mobility is not what it used to be. I don't know if it's because he hurt his knee last year and it's still a little bit of a carryover this year, but his mobility is less than what it used to be. But they got a lot of talent. And just before we go, tell me what your prediction for these Eagles is this season. And has it changed? You had a prediction, or you saw them, you see the talent they have before the season started. You have in your mind, okay, maybe they should do this or do that. They should go this far. Has that changed since the season started? And what is your prediction for how far they're going to go?
Yeah, I think they've actually shown some things that I wasn't expecting. So I think that helped make me even more confident in my prediction in them. But I've been rooting for the Eagles even once I left a little bit. I'm gonna say it like that. But definitely this year, they got the team, they got the players, they got the positions to do it. Now, I think what I want to see, just from a fan standpoint, and what it may take in some of these later on, playoff type games, is just creating more turnovers on defense.
Okay.
I know we have our runs and spurts when we get those turnovers, and they do happen in bunches and all of that. But I think once we start incorporating big plays on defense a little bit more consistently, I think that's going to help, keep things rolling. But we also got to keep the pressure on teams from an offensive standpoint. I can remember when my 2005 4-5 team went to the Super Bowl that year. It made our job so much easier as a defense and as a secondary when we go out there and score on our first 2 or 3 possessions of the game.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That really turns the tables when it comes to how you can play and how the calls are going to be made, and allow you to play with a lot more confidence, because of that cushion. So that's just how I saw this same team was 2 years ago. You jump out on
they jump out in front. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That makes everybody on defense look great.
Right.
So if they really want to continue to take some of that pressure off of those guys on the back end and or just in the areas on defense that they may not be getting those plays, just go out and be more consistent and score early and often. And then I think that definitely will allow some of those guys to start making some plays back there.
Right. They definitely got to get it going in the first quarter, because they're the only league. The Eagles are the only team in the league right now that has not scored any points in the first quarter. The only team in the league. And that's the opposite of what was happening 2 years ago when they went to the Super Bowl. They used to jump out front. And, yeah, like you said, it makes it easy for defense, because now your opposing offense is playing from behind. They got to try to catch up. They can't keep running the ball. They got to chunk the ball down the field.
It's a lot harder when a team can dictate, your defense by them controlling the running game.
Right.
I mean, it's a more physical game. It's a tougher game, and it just makes you, a little bit more undecided. I mean, or just on your heels in that respect. But I think that definitely helps out, man. And so if they can do that, that'll definitely help put this team.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you one, and we didn't talk about this. This is I'm sorry if I catch you off guard with this, but I'm sure you know about this. I'm going to ask you about this before we. He's like, "What the hell is this giving man?" I'm going to ask you about this before we go. This is my last question to you today. You know about Tua Tagovailoa, right? The quarterback
Yes.
from the Miami Dolphins. You're down there in Jacksonville, so you know. I know you know about the Dolphins and their situation with Tua Tagovailoa. Well, he's coming back this week, and we all know about his history with concussions and all that kind of stuff. Just, I mean, speak to that. I mean, in my opinion, let me give you my opinion, so it kind of set you up to say what it is you're going to say. At some point, and when you look, if he's ever seen himself experience a concussion where he locks up like that all the time, and you know, getting sometimes grazed in the head and not really getting a real hard blow to the head, and he suffers a concussion in that at that level, that measure of a concussion. Man, I think if it were me, and I was stupid, I was one of the craziest dudes that ever played football. You know, it would take a lot for me to have to quit or retire, so to speak. I would have to think twice if I was a family member of his or his father or a friend of his. I would have a long talk with him and try to talk him out of coming back, because your health, particularly when you know you have an issue, your health like that, your brain, is just not worth it.
So even with that perspective, every person, every individual is definitely gonna have their own say so about what happens in their life. And just as concerned as you are from afar, I'm sure his family,
Yeah.
I'm sure his loved ones, I'm sure his medical team, I'm sure everybody that's in his corner who love him, who has his best interest, who understands what this game means to him, who understands what this game has done for him and his family. I think they're gonna give that perspective, but they're also gonna allow him to make
Make the choice.
the decision on how he wants to live the rest of his life. And I think across the board in any sport, any competition, any challenge where you have the decision to go out whichever way you want to go, I think most people will choose to go out doing the things that they love to do.
Right.
And from a football standpoint, that's what he loves to do. That's what he's dedicated his life to do. And we all say we dedicate our life to it, but do we really dedicate our life to it?
Right. Yeah.
So, in that sense, he is dedicating his life to what he loves to do.
Right.
And obviously, we're all praying and hoping for the best, but
Right.
I commend him for just understanding all the obstacles and just living for what he wants to do.
Going for it, yeah. And you know what? I agree with you 100%, because I mentioned earlier, if I was a family member, if I was a friend, if I was a loved one, I would tell him not to go back, or I would try to talk him out of it, I should say. If it were me, I'd be doing the same thing. If it were me, like I said, I was crazy. I'd be out there playing. Yeah, I'd be out there playing.
Even obviously, most guys who has played the game has taken some hard hits, and even more. But injuries, every injury seems career ending in a lot of different ways, magnitudes to each player. And I mean, I wasn't in a concussion type situation with my career ending injury,
Right.
but it was still a permanent type injury that could handicap me for the rest of my life.
Particularly when you get older. Yeah.
Right. A lot of other guys, are hit with that fact every day
Right,
in a
right.
lot of different,
Right.
jobs, careers, and the decisions in their life. So and I get it, and it's always easy, to say just
Right.
quit.
Yeah. So yeah,
But
from another perspective, from people looking from the outside in who have never experienced that, who have never, worked hard like we worked for years to get to where,
right,
we're at a point where we can make a living for ourselves and change generations in our family. Yeah. And just the love of the game in and of itself, man, is just, it's very, very, just so everybody knows, it's very, very hard to walk away from. Everybody, as I mentioned earlier, for the most part, does not walk away from the game of football on their own terms. Usually we're pushed out or we're forced out or something happens where we have to physically walk away because we physically can't play anymore. So,
I'm laughing because I'm thinking about it from the total opposite perspective too. Because the only guys that get a chance to walk away is some of those high drafted quarterbacks who call bus, who get hundreds of millions of dollars, and just say bump it. So yeah, those guys did walk away like
well,
they
yeah.
won.
Well, yeah. Well,
But
they did.
from a media standpoint, you call them different things. But at the end of
Right.
the day, they won.
Right. You're right. Yeah. Well, listen, man. Look, bro. This was great. I appreciate you being on here with me today. Like I said, you're one of the few that in the last 2 years that I've been doing the Fryar Place, been airing the Fryar Place. You're one of the few that came on 20 minutes earlier for the show. Make sure we had everything set up. You're one of the few that I didn't have to, contact you 5 or 6 times. You said yes, boom, and you did what you said you were going to do. I appreciate it, bro. You just have no idea how much that makes my job easier. I appreciate you, brother. I really do.
I definitely appreciate the invite, and just like I say, I've always, respected you and all my other,
You can say
uncles
elders,
of the game. I'm
elders,
gonna
yeah,
call them
uncles.
uncles of the game.
Uncles in the game. I got you, bro. It's all good. It's all good. And you know what? I appreciate that. That's how you being looked at that way. A big brother or uncle in the game, man. Shoot, I wear that badge as a badge of honor, man. I appreciate that. I really do. I really do. It's always good seeing you when we run into each other. Sometimes we don't know we're going to run into each other, and we end up at the same event with each other, and it's always cordial. It's always respectful, man. And I appreciate you. And listen, this won't be the last time I have you on. All right.
Oh, definitely, no doubt, man.
All right, and you should have your own podcast. I'm telling you.
I've been thinking about that. I really have, and you really, gave me some great advice today on that. Irvin.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
If you need any help, just let me know, bro. I'll be right there for you. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thanks. I'll see you next time.
Definitely.
All right. All right, y'all. That's Lito Sheppard in the house. Oh my gosh, that was a great conversation. Lito is the GOAT. Is that you, PJ? Over at Dolan's Bar, and he said, Irv, that shirt. Yeah, you see the shirt. You see it. You see it. You can't even see the whole thing. Let me see if I can show you the whole thing. PJ. Oh, bam. Woo! Yes, sir. You see that. You see the whole thing. The whole thing. Let me see if I can change this camera and give you another view of this shirt. Camera B. Bang. There you see it now. Woo! Yeah. Now you see the whole thing. Got it? Listen, I'm shouting out to everybody who's watching right now. Dolan, he said, bro, I'm trailing. Yeah, you're trailing. Just so everybody knows, the owner of Dolan's, PJ, he and I are having this contest for Eagles gear. Yeah, Eagles drip. And he's losing. Yeah, you see that? He's losing because he can't keep up with my drip. Can't keep up with my drip, brother. He said, stop. Just Origina. Is that how I said that? Origina or Origina? Great conversation. Yes, it was. I see you, bro. Shout out to you, Just. Shout out to you, PJ. Shout out to you, Billy Bell. Richard Melton, shout out to you. Keenan Harmon is in the house. Yes. Keenan, you crazy. At some point, too, isn't going to be able to pronounce his name as well as you do, Rev. Well, I pronounce his name. Look, I just learned how to pronounce his name. Yeah, Mitchell is balling. Billy Bell, Keenan Harmon, Vincent Capriati in the house. Christopher Womack, Frank Hanna. Looking forward to seeing you, brother. Billy Bell was, oh gosh, how you say that? Sophia? Is that right? Am I mentioning that the right way? Am I pronouncing that the right way? Good luck. Game will be broadcast live on here. Eddie Casper, Ben Straight, shout out to you. Hope Wiley, my sister, shout out to you. Joey Huron, shout out to you. Ravens Talk with Yolanda. Yolanda, shout out to you as well. I'm just, I'm putting this picture up right now because I want to show off my shirt right now because PJ is jealous. Yeah. Stu Winrow in the house. Shout out to you, brother. Mama, God bless you, mama. I love you. I always love my mama. He says, stop. Listen, y'all, we'll be back next week. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Actually, next week, no, we'll be live. Let me see. What's the date today? Today is the 25th. Today is the 25th. Let me look on my calendar. I believe next week is the first week of the month. Yeah. Next week will be the first week of the month, so we'll be in Dolan's, not Dolan's, we'll be we have a show at Dolan's. We'll be at the Cigar Code on Saturday from 6 to 7 p.m. That's November 2nd. We'll be live at the Cigar Code, and my guest next week will be none other than former Eagles linebacker and current WIP radio personality, Ike Reese. Yes, Ike Reese is going to be my guest live at the Cigar Code next Saturday, November 2nd, from 6 to 7 p.m. If you can get there, please get there. If not, watch us right here at the Fryar Place where the conversations are fired. Listen, don't forget to like us and subscribe and comment and share the Fryar Place. Those of you who are watching right now on my Facebook page, please go over to YouTube. I would very much appreciate it if you go over to YouTube, search for the Fryar Place channel, and subscribe to the Fryar Place on YouTube. You get a better picture, you get better sound on the YouTube channel, and my sponsors pay me more money. All right, listen, we'll be back next week. Like I said, we'll be live at the Cigar Code on Saturday to have another conversation that's fire with Ike Reese. I'm Irving Fryar. This is the Fryar Place. Listen, be kind to yourself. Be kind to other people because you reap what you sow. We'll be back next week, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Peace.